I'm Deb Thomas, the Nelson Municipal Librarian. I'm here today to introduce you to some of the new titles that we've got in our library that have just recently come onto the shelves. I want to start out with a topic that's on everybody's mind these days, the environment. I have two books here, Our Earth, Ourselves, The Action-Oriented Guide to Help You Protect and Preserve Our Environment. It's by Ruth Kaplan and the staff of Environmental Action. And that's its major focus, is environmental action, and it's environmental action for the individual. It goes through and introduces you to all the major environmental problems we have right now, from global warming to toxic waste, and it shows you what you can do about them yourself. For example, in the chapter on global warming, it talks about how you can operate your car in the most fuel-efficient way so that you're not wasting fuel and you're not polluting the environment any more than you need to, which is a very practical suggestion about how you can help the environment. And it does that in each chapter. As well, we have a book called The Next 100 Years, Shaping the Fate of Our Living Earth by Jonathan Weiner, who is the best-selling author of Planet Earth. Jonathan Weiner is a science writer, and you might expect this to be a very dry book, but in fact it isn't. It's quite a very readable book and a very accessible book. He doesn't focus as much on the individual and how they can make a difference on the environment. He looks at a global perspective and how national policies and industrial policies are also affecting how the environmental problems with our Earth today. It's really an excellent book, really worth reading if this is something that you're concerned in. Now, the thing that's very positive about both books is, in contrast to the doom and gloom kind of books that we were reading in the 70s and 80s that gave most of us to believe that there was really not much we could do about the environment, that we were basically, that was it, things were over and it was really bad. Both of these really stress what we can do to make a difference. As well, I have a novel here. And the novel is called Mary Riley, and it's by Valerie Martin. Now, this is a very interesting book. It's based on the life of Mary Riley, who is a very intelligent young woman trapped in a poor and brutal childhood. She escapes from this childhood to become the employee of Dr. Jekyll. And this is the story of Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from the viewpoint of Dr. Jekyll's servant. And it's a very, very interesting perspective. She develops a deep affection for Dr. Jekyll and realizes soon that he's very ill and that he's unstable, and begins to become very concerned about him. And you can follow the story from her particular perspective, and it's quite a fascinating story. As well, I have a book of poetry by Raymond Carver. Raymond Carver was a much celebrated poet and fiction writer who recently died in 1988. This was his last book. It was written with the help of his live-in companion and wife in the last few months, Tess Gallagher, and she introduces the book to help us understand the process that they went through to create the book. It's quite a lovely book and very moving in parts. It sort of goes through his life, and you see how his concerns are changing as he gets older, and as well as he realizes that he's got cancer, and that soon that he realizes he's going to die. And the last section of the book is where he talks about the thoughts of a dying man. And I want to read you one little poem here that I thought was quite moving. It's the very last poem, and it's called Late Fragment. And did you get what you wanted from this life even so? I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved. to feel myself beloved on the earth. This is Raymond Carver's 11th book and his last, and definitely worth reading. As well, I have a couple of videotapes here. We have a lot of children's videos especially, and they're extremely popular. They really don't need promoting, but this one in particular I think is an excellent one. I should note that 2 years ago we only had 2 videos, and now we have close to 80 or 90. We have lots of videos on the shelves now, and they're well worth investigating. This particular one is a filmed version of the British children's classic, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I'm sure many people have read that particular book and continue to read it. This is a particularly lovely version. It's a British version from the BBC, and the character who plays Mary Lennox is quite perfect. For those of you who read the book, I think you'll agree with me. Definitely worth seeing. As well, we have a series of fairy tale theater videos that have just gone onto the shelves. I should note that those particular videos, I've viewed all of them at this point, and we don't think they're necessarily suitable for preschoolers. It's certainly worth investigating as a parent before you show them to your preschoolers. There's some of them that are quite scary, and you just need to make that judgment for yourself. As well, we have a lot of nonfiction videos for adults and some stories for adults as well. This particular one is on windsurfing, and it was bought with the Winter Games legacy money that we received this year. You'll be seeing a lot more sports videos on the shelves because of this grant. This particular one features Murray Willett, who is an Australian, and some say was the inspiration for Crocodile Dundee. He's known as the Wild Man. And he goes through all the things you need to know about windsurfing, from how to assemble the sail and how to put it all together, to special condition windsurfing, really rough conditions, and how do you deal with those particular conditions. So definitely worth seeing too if you're into windsurfing, and I know there are a lot of people around here who are into windsurfing. I want to mention as well that we're now branching into compact discs. At the moment we have a very small collection, mostly old jazz, Billie Holiday, Benny Goodman, that kind of thing. But we're now branching into more country and pop and jazz and modern jazz and classical. We're going to develop that collection more and more as time goes on, and we certainly invite you to come in and investigate that. Well, that's all we have for today. I'll see you again soon.